What's going on, everybody? What's going on? How everybody doing tonight? I.O.B.A. I'm TC. So, I had an interesting week at work on this last week of summer school. The two people I was working with made it interesting. Really, three other people, but these two made it interesting. And one of them is a teacher, and one of them is the other paraprofessional. And so every day before class starts, we always have a discussion, little talk on some of the shit that's going on. And the teacher, he's a pretty smart guy. I mean, he's a teacher. And most teachers, not all, but most teachers are pretty smart. Check that. Some teachers can be pretty smart. Some of them, outside of their field, are dumber than a bag of hammers. I mean, let me just be honest. But anyway, he pretty smart. And, but, he got this thing about money. He told me when maybe 3 days in that, this chapter in his life is going to be filled with him chasing money. I said, cool, man, chase money, And we're talking about, he about 50, he about 50. He's a little younger than me, but, not so much younger till we totally from different, totally from different stratospheres, different, generations. But he said he all about that money right now. I'm like, cool, my dude, do you. And, and I'm observing him. And he a teacher, he got 2 children. And he is a football coach. And what else does he do? He's a real estate investor. He claims that he has stocks, so he's in the stock market. And he's trying to not sell me, but he's trying to tell me about all of the videos and stuff that he watches where, these guys are starting these multi-million-dollar businesses, those online things that play before the videos do on YouTube, stuff like that. So he's into that shit. And I guess he's trying to get me to come on with him because he always, get involved in it as well because he always trying to tell me about it. T, you should do this, T, you should do that. They looking for people like you who are artists so they can invest in this and do that. Not knowing that I done been through all of that shit. I don't know how many times. My sister used to drag me to these seminars and these talks every weekend. I'd be chilling at the house with my wife, and she all of a sudden, come on, we got to go hear these people speak, and blah, 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 blah. And it'd be some network marketing bullshit or some pyramid type shit. Every weekend. But I went through all of that, I went through a whole bunch of different ways that people say you can make a lot of money really fast. And none of it's almost always bullshit. So anyway, that's where he's at. And he's trying to bring me in. And then, me, I'm woke. I'm woke as a motherfucker. I always call myself a woke baby boomer. And the other para in the room I was telling you about, she's also a woke baby boomer. Black woman, what she said she was? She late 50s. But she ain't like the typical late 50s Black American woman. She not, ass deep in the church and the pastor, and her whole life revolves around Jesus Christ. She ain't like that. She ain't like that at all. Now, the teacher, he not overly religious. He just overly capitalistic. So we got into a little discussion today about capitalism and socialism and stuff like that. And I was telling him, that, there have been really great societies throughout history that didn't even use money as a medium of exchange, and they were really successful. So, he had never really heard of nothing like that. He can't conceive of a society where money isn't used in some form, So, he's asking me questions about it, but he had a little sarcastic edge to his questions, but it wasn't no problem because I'm well versed in my shit. And then he started talking again. And he started talking about rich black people and how they got rich, like Michael Jordan. Trying to tell me about Michael Jordan. Now, I already know about Michael Jordan. I mean, what the fuck? Who don't know about Michael Jordan? I probably know more about Michael Jordan and how Michael Jordan got rich and famous than he does. But he knows he knows the story that white people say. So, he's hitting me with all this. And I'm not arguing with him. I'm just listening to him like I don't know anything. So I'm, letting him talk. And the other para, she can't contain herself. She keeps going at him. She's saying a lot of the shit that I want to say, but I want to hear him talk. So then he said, he started going into a spiel about these prosperity preachers. And he fucked around and mentioned T.D. Jakes. And the other para in the room, she almost lost it. She just turned around and she said, I'm done with you. She said, you and T, meaning the teacher and me, you guys are on both ends, opposite ends of the spectrum. Y'all ain't gonna never agree on this. I said, we sure not. I said, because he's a staunch capitalist and I'm something else. Now, I don't like to let motherfuckers pigeonhole me as far as my politics are concerned, but as far as how a society should be run, I lean more towards what John Henry Clark used to talk about, where African nations, lived in societies where everybody got what they needed. How he put it, there was no word for jail because nobody ever gone to one. There was no word for old folks home because nobody ever threw away grandma and grandpa. Teenage pregnancy was almost non-existent. There was a whole, different type of socialist society that, white people could never understand. So, that's how I lean. If you had to nail me down and say pick one. So that's the type of socialism I was talking about. He even came up out of his mouth with something about Adolf Hitler getting rich because he was able to sell the people his dream. Now he doesn't know that I know how Adolf Hitler really came into power. But, I'm just letting him talk, So he had all of this, all of this capitalistic shit that he was telling me, So I'm like, why does dude think like that? And we talking some more. And I said, do you know anything about Black Wall Street? Because he started talking about the welfare system and how black people was abusing the welfare system. So I said, he said that he tried to tell me history. That goes all the way back to the 60s and 70s when people would, I'm like, what the fuck? And then the para jumped in again. She said, yeah, but we were shut out of all of the GI Bill and Roosevelt's New Deal and the land grants and all that. See, he didn't know that we knew about the land grant programs and the covenants that the suburbs had and the redlining and the rest of it. I don't think he knows about that. And I'm like, why the fuck don't he know about that? So we're talking some more, right? Why the fuck don't he know about all of this? He our age, we know. Why don't he know? Why is he this, this motherfucking capitalist, undercover, what's with all this undercover dry cooning you doing? So, I said, I asked him, where you from originally? He said, I'm from Miami. I'm from Little Havana, Miami. He said, my daddy was a Cuban. My daddy came over. I said, there it is right there. This motherfucker's a second-generation immigrant. A second-generation immigrant. That's why. And he think like a lot of second-generation immigrants think. Because they have no real history of how, they have no real understanding, I should say, of how black people, ADOS, how hard we were subjugated, how badly we were subjugated. Because he even tried to hit me with slavery was all over the world and blah, 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 blah. All throughout history, blah, 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 blah. That bullshit. You know. Now, I could have went in on him. Maybe I will before the week is out. But I could have went in on him on, Jim Crow, and the type of slavery that was practiced in the U.S. was different from slavery practiced in other parts of the world and at other times in the world. I could have went in on him on a bunch of that stuff. But I digressed because I wanted to keep him talking. Because eventually, he's the type of guy that, he starts babbling, and his facts get all mixed up. So all I did was I just hit him with a couple of references, and gave him some material to look at. But I didn't really challenge him as much as the other parrot did. She did. She was all up in his shit about his bad history and his ignorance of true black American history. She was all up in his shit about it. I got a more subtle way of getting my point across. But yeah, he's a second-generation immigrant, and that's how a lot of immigrants think. They think that black people in this country don't take advantage of the opportunity that's here. We depend too much on and wait too much for government handouts. That we lazy, right? And that it's our own fault that we at the bottom of the social scale. That's what these immigrants think coming over here. And then they get that cold slap in the face. Oh yeah, and he got a thing for white women, but I digress on that point. Actually, no, I don't digress on that point. He got a thing for white women. And like I said, that explains that not knowing what Black Wall Street is, not truly knowing about how Jim Crow worked, not truly understanding that black people were left out of the New Deal and and the GI Bill and a lot of other things that came in the early 20th century to lift people out of poverty and out the Great Depression. He don't understand any of that shit. Because he's a second-generation immigrant. His daddy came from somewhere else. His daddy came with part of that when Fidel Castro took over Cuba after the Cuban Revolution, and all the motherfuckers came to the U.S. That's when his daddy came. Because he's, like I said, he's close to 50 years old. So his dad probably 70, 75 years old. Anyway. So that's the shit I've been dealing with all week. I'm gonna give y'all some more on that. But ADOS, we gotta fight this fight on our own, and anybody that don't understand that need to, like I said, just keep their mouth shut and just hope that them fucked up immigration people don't come looking for you on some bullshit. See, because we can't help y'all with that. We really can't. We can't help immigrants, especially illegal ones, with that problem. Y'all have to deal with that. The black ones and the brown ones, y'all got to deal with that. Y'all don't want to help and ally with us on nothing. So, I'm sorry. I'm not going to help no cracker catch you, but ain't nothing I can do about it if he does. Anyway, y'all, that's it for now. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that Killer Mike interview with Tone Talks. I watched that shit. It was cool. TC, and I'm out.